It's not about who you are, but who you want to be. It's not about where you are, but where you want to get. It's not about who you are right now because you're in a pursuit of getting better every single day. Hello to the wonderful champion community. This is your favorite and handsome host for being champions, Vaibhav, and I'm so damn excited to welcome you yet again in today's super duper damn energetic episode. And I'm so damn energetic today, as always, but even more because we have someone really special in our television show today. We have Tim Steele joining us right now from the UK. He is the Pro Vice Chancellor for International Education in the University of Wolverhampton. It's even special for me because, along with my business, along with the speaking thing that we do, along with the TV show that I run, I'm a student at Maryland College, Bratnagar, which is a part of the University of Wolverhampton. But I promise you, I won't be biased. I'll ask some really hard questions as well to Tim. And we're going to go ahead in a beautiful journey for the next 20 minutes to find out how students can become champion. So, first of all, a big welcome to you, Tim, with a virtual hug and a high five at the same time.
Yeah, likewise back to you. High five, and really great to be here and really good to get this opportunity to talk to your audience about education and international education.
Thank you so much. I promise you this, Tim. Rather than having a formal questionnaire about how international education works and all that stuff, I'm going to try to make it more friendly and discussable for our audience as well. So before we go ahead and get delve deeper into university at itself, let me ask you a very simple question. I mean, with so much change in 2020, there is a really different perception we have developed about education that things can be learned virtually. What do you think is the relevance of formal education when almost all the skills can be learned online at this point of time?
I think what we've learned over the pandemic is that we can innovate our learning to make our learning more accessible to students. And what the online world has given us is that students can learn when they want to learn rather than when we tell them to learn. But we also recognise that students and academic staff still want to have one-to-one, face-to-face dialogue, because actually that's where we all do our learning, by listening to others and sharing ideas and getting motivated by listening to others. I think what we'll see at the end of the pandemic is that we'll be utilising both the blended learning, so aspects of recorded parts of the course, alongside face-to-face seminars and group work and projects. So I think actually what we're going to have is a more enhanced student experience, because your core lectures, you'll be able to watch them over and over again, where that wasn't necessarily the case pre-pandemic for some institutions. And that means that because we all learn in different ways, we all learn at different speeds. Some of us like to learn at midnight, some of us want to be up at 8 o'clock in the morning. It really gives you that flexibility as a learner to be able to do that when you want to do it. And that's going to be a challenge for institutions across the world in terms of continuing to give that flexibility of knowing where students are when they're planning to be in the classroom or not. And that'll take a bit of time to embed, I'm sure, across the world. But the key thing is about, we want to create student communities, academic communities of inclusive people who are learning from each other. And you can't, whilst the virtual world is fantastic, you can't get anything better than actually going out and meeting people. And I've been out to Nepal, I've been out to Bratnagar, and until you actually get out there and you meet the students and meet the staff who are teaching them, it's never quite the same as unfortunately doing these live Zoom calls that we've all got so used to over the last 12 months.
Exactly. And what you're saying is making a lot of sense, that, trying to integrate the virtual part at the same time. But let me be honest with you, there are resources out there like Udemy, like Skillshare, and various platforms like edX that provide courses on similar themes, maybe more detailed with better, production quality and stuff. So how does even if the school is functioning virtually with a teacher speaking the thing, and there are world experts over the platforms like Udemy, Skillshare, edX, providing the same learning material, what do you think is the competitive edge that student can get by taking a formal degree therefore?
Well, I think the competitive edge is that it is that face-to-face. It is that fact that whilst a lot of these platforms give you the content, you don't get a chance to meet the professor who's created the content, and you don't get that opportunity to sit down with them and challenge them, and for them to challenge you. And that's what formal education will give all students who are engaging with universities, and wanting that face-to-face interaction in terms of learning and exploring about different curriculum and different themes. So I think one of the challenges formal institutions have, and you touched on it, is about the quality of the online material that we produce. And obviously we had to move extremely quickly from face-to-face to online because of the pandemic. One of the pieces of work that I've been working on at my institution is how we create frameworks to make sure that actually the standard of our recording material or live material that you can access via the web is of a level and of a standard and of a level that you want to interact with. What you don't want is the famous death by PowerPoint, or someone just talking for 30 minutes in a monotone voice. You want someone to be animated and engaging. So and not everyone's good at that. Some people, some of our academic colleagues are fantastic at their computer literacy skills. Others aren't. Others are really good narrators and really enthusiastic people to talk to. Some are not as good at that. So we as an institution looking at how we support our staff to really develop and grow as well as enhancing the student experience. So it's not just a one side sort student side. It's actually how do you develop your staff, how do you develop your infrastructure to go into this new world that we're now well and truly in.
Amazing. Makes sense at the same time. You meant you have been into international education since a very long time. You recently, since a few years, have been working with the University of Wolverhampton. Would love to know about University of Wolverhampton. The community of champions would love to know about it, and how actually being a part of an international community is helpful for student learning.
Yeah, so University of Wolverhampton is a university based in the West Midlands in the UK, which is near Birmingham. So we're right in the middle of the UK. We're an institution of over 27,000 learners, and we're spread over 3 large campuses. And we're a comprehensive university. We teach nearly all subjects apart from medicine. And we've got quite big ambitions to grow in terms of our size. And we've just launched our new strategy to grow to about 40,000 learners. And a big drive around that strategy is around growing our international student numbers, whether that's in the UK or, more importantly, through transnational education and delivering our degree courses in place of need. So as we do in Nepal, where we have where we work in partnership, delivering our courses in Bratnagar and in Kathmandu, we are able to take a UK course and give it to students within their home country at an appropriate price for their home country, and to give them that experience of a British education, which requires them to develop their critical thinking and debate skills, and to learn a different pedagogy, a different way of learning to maybe how they've been taught in the past, because different cultures and different education systems teach and learn in different ways. The key part of that is that you are then part of a global community. And one of the things that I'm really keen about is providing mobility opportunities that allows British students to come out to Nepal for a week, 2 weeks, but also find opportunities for Nepalese students just to come and do 1 or 2 weeks in the UK. Because I recognise that coming to the UK for a year is hugely expensive. And for many kids, including the British kids, it's their first time ever abroad without mum and dad and being as independent adults. So it really helps them grow. But what we do is do project work with, so if we bring kids from the UK to Nepal, they will do project work with the students at Bratnagar. And what you find is that starts to create your global network. And as we all know, or as you're going to find out as you go into the world of work, is actually what's in your phone, and that global network of people to be able to call somebody up in India or Nepal or China or in London or in Birmingham or Wolverhampton is so important, because within a few minutes you can text a load of people and say, we've got a challenge, we've got a problem, we've got an opportunity. What do you think? And your network will be able to come back to you so fast, and you'll be able to get, oh, right, we're on the right lines, we're on the wrong lines, we've got people who are interested. And I do think it is about that global perception, but also a global perception about understanding different cultures and being tolerant with each other, because all our countries have different ways of working, different beliefs, different family lives, all sorts of different things. And one of the things that I've learned over my 20 odd years in international education is, one, you're always learning. So, you go to countries, you go to new countries, you find out new things, and you just get that deeper understanding and appreciation about different cultures, which helps shapes you, because actually sometimes people react to things and you think, oh, that's not what we were expecting, or I want to, I want to have done that. And sometimes it's your lack of knowledge or understanding about how business is done there. So you learn, you go to China, you learn that actually most business is done around the dinner table. So all your formal meetings don't happen. You go to lots of formal meetings, that's fine, but actually the bit of you do the work comes that. And these are the things that being in a global community gives you exposure to, because actually we're an institution. We're an institution of over 1,500 international students from all over the world. So you start to interact with all these different people and learn from each other.
Amazing. But let me be honest with you over here, Tim, if you allow. Every single year, there are hundreds of students who enroll into specific course. Let's say I'm a student right now, let's say studying business management over here. And there's a batch of 100 students. The university boasts the presence of international community. But there are two students who get approached, who get an opportunity to go international and reach out. And for the 98 others, they never ever meet any single person outside their campus. So how do you think it is truly global, and when the students at all don't get access to international cultures in terms of physical being or in terms of even virtual setting?
I think it's global because the curriculum is an international curriculum. So it's not a curriculum that's focused about the UK or Nepal or China. It is a global curriculum that looks at trying to give you challenges and asking you to consider things in a global context. So it makes you move outside of your comfort zone and start to think in a wider way of thinking. And I think also, things like today are examples of actually, if we hadn't got a connection with Bratnagar and the colleges there, actually we wouldn't be doing this interview most likely today. So actually, these opportunities about people getting to hear people like me talk about internationalization and that global approach just opens up people's ideas, minds in terms of what those opportunities are. And I always think we've got to do more. I think your point about we do need to do more in terms of interaction with students who are studying in their home country on an international qualification, to make sure that there is more interaction with our students on other campuses or actually in other parts of the world where the same course is being taught.
Right. Thank you so much. Now, I want you to take it in a wholesome, bigger perspective, with so much changing around the world every single year, education probably being the most, transitioning segment industries in the world at this point of time. How do you think education, specifically higher education, will look like 10 years down the line?
Wow, that's a good question, isn't it? If I can bottle this and get it right, this could be making my fortune. I think the reality is higher education in the next 10 years is going to see students who are more mobile, actually maybe not particularly getting on planes, but more mobile through that interaction piece. And the fact that actually it is a virtual classroom, and we might start to flip it to say, actually, if we are teaching a business administration course, we somehow find the right time in the day where we actually teach it to both our students in the UK, in Nepal, in China, wherever in the world they are, and you're all doing it through this at the same time, and you're all interacting with each other. And by then, the technology where we can interact will have improved again, because actually by then we'll probably have 3D images of ourselves sat at desks rather than just our faces on Zoom, and the VR element of it, I think, will have changed quite dramatically. So I think you are going to see quite a shift. And I think as people become more and more focused about sustainability, some
Right.
people are going to be less minded to get on a plane.
Mm-hmm.
Some won't, and not everyone will be. But people will still get on planes and still go to places. But I do just think that the technology is moving so fast that we will see us doing more things across multiple countries rather than it being a course delivered in Nepal, a course delivered in Wolverhampton, a course in Hong Kong. Actually, be about the course and how the course is delivered, and actually that ensures then a consistent learning experience to all students. But I think that the fact that you'll have VR and things like that, the virtual reality, and you'll be able to physically see that I am actually 6'5", even though I'm sitting down, and actually start to actually get a feel like who people are. Not what do they look like, the mannerisms, etc. Because that's the big thing we all miss at the moment is body language. Really hard
Right.
on the two to actually know whether what am I, what were you thinking, what am I thinking. You're just relying on the smiles, the eyebrows.
Uh-huh.
So I think it's trying to it's developing that, but I also think it's going to be very much important that the curriculum continues to be designed and influenced by industry, and it's those institutions that have got industry embedded into their continuous curriculum development are the ones that are going to be the successful global players, because you need to produce graduates who are who are employable with the right skill sets that employers need, and that's constantly changing, and we've got to be really mindful of that.
I'll interrupt you with it, Tim. There's this very big question out there right now in terms of education globally, a very contextual debate. I run my startup that's worked with education field. We work with over 100 schools here in Nepal. And that's why I asked this question basically. There's a very big people call it challenge that universities talk about students being job ready, and there's so many universities that talk about it, and it's basically an industry standard where universities talk about students being job ready, being ready for the market, and it seems that the education is designed in a format to get them ready for professions. But why is entrepreneurship not made something very encouraging? Why is not, these are the 98% of our students are becoming entrepreneurs? Why are students not given and fostered an environment and possibilities of options where entrepreneurship can be seen by them as a vision? Why can't we design a possibility of education where every student can dream of starting out of there something of their own?
I think most universities nowadays have incubation space for all students, whether you're a business student or an arts student, a scientist. So those support mechanisms are becoming more of the norm. Some institutions very much embedded already into their university. They have incubation hubs to allow students to grow. We have a science park in Wolverhampton where our students who've got ideas can then use space, get access to staff who can mentor them, support them with their business ideas, and to grow that. So you're right. Students have got to be given the skills and the opportunities to grow. And I think it's an important part of what I always say to students, if things are missing in your curriculum or missing in your course, and you want to do things, there should be channels where you can communicate that back to your institution. And if you just tick the box, everything is okay, and I have no ideas about how you can improve it, and actually you're not doing yourself any justice, and you're not doing your future classmates any justice by saying, actually, we really want to do far more on entrepreneurship, or we want to do far more about entrepreneurship in terms of getting support from businesses to help us with our ideas. So it is important to feed that to institutions. But the other thing is to remember is universities and colleges and institutions provide massive amounts of opportunities for students to do extra things outside of the classroom. Some students really do everything possible. So yourself, you're hosting your various media channels and doing something above and beyond your studies. That makes you much more employable than the student who's just done study and done nothing else, and not joined the society, not joined a sports club, not done some community work, not done some volunteering. And that's one of the things that students really need to look at all those opportunities and think, actually, that might help me stand out from the crowd. Me being part of that might make me a little bit different to the other 30 students who are in my class who might all be applying for the same job that I want to do. So I think that's an important point for students. It's not all one way. It is a two-way kind of journey that we have to go on.
Amazing. It's been a wonderful time with you, Tim. We have been discussing some really amazing stuff. As my audience knows, I'm not allowed to be biased. So I asked some tough questions, got some really tough answers at the same time. And I have a surprise for you. Do you like surprises?
Oh, yeah. I do like surprises.
Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10?
Oh. I'll go with 7.
Okay, so I have a surprise for you, and the surprise I have is we're going to go for a quick rapid fire round, and it's going to be a little different. What's basically going to happen is that I'm going to pop you up with random words, and you need to respond to them immediately within 6 seconds, and that's how it's going to work. Is it fun for you? Are you ready for the same?
I'm ready for it. Let's hope there's no delay.
I'll tell you what, in the show we had billionaires, we had world champion of public speaking, we had international, people with millions of subscribers in the YouTube and in this show, in this segment, and this section sometimes they get frozen, but it's the real fun section. So I'll go ahead if you give me a thumbs up. Oh yeah, let's go ahead. The first word for you is chocolates.
Sweets.
Mother.
Dad.
University.
Study.
Informal education.
Hard.
Success.
Money.
Dreams.
Exciting.
Life.
Challenging.
Wife.
Demanding.
Wonderful. Television.
Films.
International education.
Travel.
Money.
Clothes.
Funny.
Friends.
Tim Steele. That's the word for you.
Honest.
Thank you so much. This was fun. This was amazing. I'm sure my audience got a really different perspective about education and international education and how we are going to see a shift in the education in the years to come. Thank you so much, Tim, for joining us for today's episode. Is there any final remarks that you would like to give?
The only thing I'd like to say is just is follow your dreams. We all start off thinking that we can't do things and we will never succeed to get to places where others have. And it's amazing when you start talking to people to understand where they've come from and how they've got to where they've got to. So follow your dreams, work hard, and believe in yourself.
Was I a good interviewer?
You did an excellent job. I'm very enthusiastic as well. I'm impressed.
Thank you so much, Tim. Thank you so much, Tim. I'm looking forward. Our audience loved this episode. Thank you so much. A virtual hug for you. So in this episode, we kind of have a ritual for the same. Whenever we are, ending the episode, I shout out "Who are we?" and we together shout out "We are champions." Does that sound cool?
Cool, yeah.
Okay. Who are we? We are
champions.
champions. Oh yeah, thank you so much, the champion community. This was a really fun episode with all of you. I'm sure you took a lot of wonderful takeaways, and I cannot wait to see you in the next episode of Being Champions with Vaibhav Nahata. Bye-bye.
Bye.